Welcome back to the channel, coin collectors and treasure hunters. Today, we are diving into the world of rare and valuable Kennedy half-dollar coins. Some of these coins may look ordinary, but certain years' mint marks and silver issues have turned them into big money collectibles. We will reveal the top 4 most valuable Kennedy half-dollars and explain why collectors are paying high prices for them. So stay with us until the end, because one of these rare coins could be sitting in your collection. Right now, let's get started. First up, the Kennedy half-dollar coin 2000D mint mark in fine condition represents a modern chapter in one of the most recognized coin series ever produced by the United States Mint, and this coin continues a tradition that began in 1964, shortly after the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy, when the nation sought to honor his legacy on circulating coinage, and the 2000D issue was struck at the Denver Mint as indicated by the D Mint mark. And although half-dollars were no longer widely used in everyday commerce by the year 2000, the series remained important to collectors and patriotic Americans who appreciated the strong profile portrait and symbolic reverse design. The obverse of the Kennedy half-dollar features the left-facing portrait of President Kennedy, designed by Gilroy Roberts, capturing youthful determination and national optimism, while the reverse displays the presidential seal, designed by Frank Gasparo, showing a heraldic eagle with shield olive branch and arrows symbolizing peace and strength. And by the year 2000, half-dollars were primarily produced for collectors and limited circulation, which means many examples were preserved in higher grades, yet coins found in fine condition show moderate wear on high points such as the hair above the ear and the eagle breast feathers, while still retaining clear detail and legible inscriptions. In fine condition, which typically corresponds to a grade of F12 to F15, the 2000D Kennedy half-dollar will show even circulation wear across the surface, but major design elements remain bold and readable, and the rim is complete, the lettering is clear, and the overall appearance is solid though lacking original mint luster. And because these coins contain a copper-nickel clad composition rather than silver, their intrinsic metal value does not exceed face value, which means collector demand determines market worth rather than bullion content. The face value of the 2000D Kennedy half-dollar is 50 cents, and in fine circulated condition within the United States, the typical market value generally ranges from 50 cents to perhaps $1, depending on demand and local market conditions. And because millions were minted and saved, the coin is considered common in circulated grades, and it does not carry significant premium unless found in exceptional uncirculated condition or with a recognized mint error. Yet the historical connection to President Kennedy maintains consistent collector interest. By the late 1990s and early 2000s, half-dollars were no longer regularly released into everyday circulation, and most were distributed directly to collectors through rolls and mint sets, which limited public exposure. And this reduced circulation explains why many coins from the 2000D mintage survive in higher grades, and for a YouTube audience it is valuable to explain how distribution methods affect rarity perception, because coins that appear uncommon in pocket change may still exist in large quantities within collector holdings. For 40-minute script, creators can explore the history of the Kennedy half-dollar series beginning in 1964, including its original 90% silver composition transition to 40% silver and later copper-nickel clad structure, and discussing how historical events influence design decisions and public reaction can add emotional depth, while encouraging viewers to subscribe for continued educational content about coin values, grading strategies, and market trends. And subscription detail may emphasize learning how to identify higher grade coins, understanding mint marks, and discovering which issues might carry future potential. Although the 2000D half-dollar in fine condition holds minimal premium today, collectors should understand the importance of preservation, because improper cleaning, harsh handling, or environmental damage can further reduce value. and coins should be stored in protective holders away from humidity and extreme temperature changes, and teaching viewers proper storage techniques not only protects collections, but also builds credibility and trust in educational coin content channels. Error varieties occasionally appear within the Kennedy half-dollar series, including off-center strikes, clip planchets, or double dies, and while such errors are not especially common, for the 2000D issue any authenticated example could command higher prices, depending on visibility and certification, and examining edge surfaces and lettering carefully can sometimes reveal anomalies, and sharing real examples in video format keeps audiences engaged while demonstrating practical evaluation skills. The broader significance of the Kennedy half-dollar extends beyond monetary worth because it represents a lasting tribute to a pivotal American leader whose presidency symbolized hope, change, and national unity during a transformative era, and even modern-clad issues like the 2000D coin connect collectors to that legacy, and this emotional and historical dimension helps explain why the series remains popular, despite modest financial premiums in circulated grades. In conclusion, the Kennedy half-dollar coin 2000D mint mark in fine condition from the United States of America is a widely available modern clad issue produced by the United States Mint honoring President John F. Kennedy, and while its typical market value remains close to face value, its true importance lies in historical symbolism, educational opportunity, and its role within a long-running and beloved American coin series. And for a detailed 40-minute presentation, this coin offers extensive material, including history, grading, preservation, advice, realistic value expectations, and encouragement for viewers to subscribe and continue exploring the fascinating world of coin collecting. Next up, the Kennedy half $2018 D-Mint Mark coin is a modern issue produced by the United States Mint at the Denver facility, which is represented by the D-Mint mark, and this coin continues the long-running tribute to President John F. Kennedy, who became an enduring symbol of leadership and inspiration in American history. And in fine condition, this coin shows moderate circulation, with light wear on the high points of the portrait and slight smoothing on the hair above the ear and the cheek area. While the reverse design featuring the presidential seal still retains clear feather details on the eagle and visible lines in the shield, and many collectors are interested in understanding whether a 2018 D Kennedy half-dollar found in pocket change can truly be worth big money, or if it remains close to its face value of 50 cents, and in most cases the value of this coin in fine condition is generally around face value to perhaps $1 or $2, depending on local demand and overall eye appeal, which means it is not considered a rare or highly valuable coin, but it still carries strong collector interest due to its historical theme and ongoing series popularity. When discussing the background of the 2018 D issue, it is important to understand that the Kennedy half-dollar series began in 1964, shortly after the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy, and the coin was introduced as a memorial piece that quickly became one of the most collected modern United States coins, and over the decades composition changes occurred, shifting from 90% silver in 1964 to 40% silver from 1965 to 1970, and then to a copper-nickel clad composition starting in 1971, and the 2018 D-Mint Mark coin is struck in this copper-nickel clad format, which means it does not contain silver bullion value, and therefore its worth is primarily based on condition, collector demand, and mintage figures, rather than precious metal content, and this is an important factor for subscribers and viewers of your channel to understand, because many people mistakenly assume that all Kennedy half-dollars contain silver, when in fact modern issues, like 2018 do not contain silver for circulation strikes. Looking at the mintage numbers for the 2018 D Kennedy half-dollar, the production figures were in the millions as part of the regular annual output for collectors and circulation, and although half dollars are not widely used in everyday transactions, they are still produced in significant quantities, primarily for collectors and bank orders, and because of this relatively high mintage, the coin is not considered scarce. In fine condition, and scarcity is one of the main drivers of coin value. So when supply is high and demand is steady, but not extreme, the market price remains low, and this is why a 2018 D in fine condition usually does not command a premium above a small collector markup. And for your YouTube audience, this is a valuable lesson in understanding how mintage, rarity, and demand work together to determine coin value in the numismatic marketplace. In fine condition, the grading standard indicates moderate even wear across the surfaces of the coin, and on the obverse portrait of President Kennedy, the hair details above the ear and near the temple may appear slightly flat, while the jawline and neck may show smoothing, and on the reverse the eagle feathers, especially on the breast and wings, may display some wear, but the overall design remains bold and clear, and the rim should still be complete and distinct. And when explaining grading to your subscribers, it is useful to emphasize that fine condition is below extremely fine and uncirculated grades, and therefore the coin has been in circulation and does not have original mint luster, which significantly affects value, compared to mint state examples that may sell for several dollars in higher certified grades. Another important aspect to cover in your long YouTube script is the difference between circulation strikes and special collector versions, because in 2018 the United States Mint also produced proof versions at the San Francisco Mint, which bear the S-Mint mark, and these proof coins are struck with polished dies and planchets, creating mirror-like fields and frosted design elements, and those proof versions can carry higher values, especially if preserved in original government packaging or certified by professional grading services, and this distinction helps viewers avoid confusion between a standard 2018 D circulation coin and a proof issue, which may look more impressive and command a stronger price in the secondary market. For viewers in the United States and around the world, including collectors who may be watching from Pakistan or the United Kingdom, it is important to clarify that the market value of a 2018 D Kennedy half dollar in fine condition is generally equivalent to 50 cents to perhaps $1 in most retail settings, and coin dealers typically buy such coins in bulk at face value unless they are in high mint state condition or part of original mint rolls, and therefore the realistic expectation for profit should be modest. And this honest approach builds trust with your subscribers, because many online videos exaggerate coin values, while experienced collectors understand that modern clad half dollars are primarily collected for enjoyment rather than high investment return. You can also expand your script by discussing the historical symbolism of the reverse design, which features the presidential coat of arms adapted from the Great Seal of the United States, with the eagle holding an olive branch and arrows symbolizing peace and strength, and the inscription of United States of America and half dollar surrounding the design. And this patriotic imagery continues to attract collectors who appreciate American history and the legacy of President Kennedy. And by explaining these design elements in detail, you create educational value for your audience, which encourages them to subscribe and engage with your content for future coin reviews and value updates. When talking about investment potential, it is wise to explain that while a single 2018 D coin in fine condition may not be worth much today, long-term collecting strategies such as assembling complete date and mint mark sets or saving uncirculated rolls can sometimes yield gradual appreciation over many years, especially if certain dates become harder to find in pristine condition, and although there is no guarantee of significant price increases, the enjoyment of collecting and the preservation of history are often the primary rewards for hobbyists, and this balanced message helps viewers develop realistic expectations while still feeling inspired to explore the hobby further. You can dedicate another portion of your 40-minute presentation to tips on storage and preservation, explaining that even a coin in fine condition should be kept in a dry environment away from moisture and handled by the edges to prevent further wear, and placed in coin holders or albums designed for half dollars. And avoiding cleaning is critical because cleaning can reduce collector value and create scratches or unnatural surfaces, and by sharing practical care advice, you provide actionable guidance that adds real value to your channel and encourages long-term viewer loyalty. Finally, you can close your very long script by summarizing that the 2018 D. Kennedy half dollar in fine condition is a modern clad coin honoring President John F. Kennedy, minted in Denver with a face value of 50 cents and a typical market value close to face value unless found in exceptional condition. And while it may not be a rare treasure, it remains an important part of an iconic American coin series that continues to be collected across generations. And by educating your audience with accurate information, transparent pricing guidance, and historical context, you build credibility and inspire viewers to subscribe for more detailed coin value discussions and future updates on potentially more valuable dates within the enduring Kennedy half dollar collection. Next up, the Kennedy half 2021 P Mint Mark coin is a modern issue produced by the United States Mint at the Philadelphia facility, which is represented by the P Mint mark, and this coin continues the long tradition of honoring John F. Kennedy, whose legacy remains powerful in American history. And in fine condition, this coin shows clear evidence of circulation with moderate wear on the high points of the portrait, including slight smoothing on the hair above the ear and along the cheek and jaw, while the reverse design featuring the presidential seal still shows bold outlines of the eagle wing shield and lettering. And for many viewers, it is important to understand that the 2021 P. Kennedy half dollar in fine condition is generally valued close to its face value of 50 cents because it is a modern clad coin with no silver content and large production numbers, which means it is not considered rare in circulated grades. When creating a detailed, you can begin by explaining the history of the Kennedy half dollar series, which was first introduced in 1964 as a tribute to President John F. Kennedy after his tragic assassination, and the coin quickly became a symbol of remembrance and national pride. And over the decades, the series went through changes in metal composition, beginning with 90% silver in 1964, then moving to 40% silver from 1965 to 1970, and finally transitioning to a copper-nickel clad composition starting in 1971, and the 2021 P issue follows this modern clad format, which means its intrinsic value comes solely from its face value and collector interest rather than precious metal content, and this distinction helps viewers avoid confusion when comparing modern coins to earlier silver issues. The 2021 P Mint mark indicates production at the Philadelphia Mint, which historically did not use a mint mark for many years, but now includes the P on half dollars and other denominations. And while half dollars are no longer commonly used in everyday transactions, they are still produced primarily for collectors and sold in rolls bags and annual mint sets. And because of this, the mintage figures for 2021 were significant, and availability in fine condition is widespread, meaning the coin is not scarce, and scarcity is one of the most important factors in determining coin value. So when a coin is easily obtainable, its market price generally remains near face value unless it is in uncirculated or certified high-grade condition. In fine condition, the grading standards indicate that the coin has been in circulation and has lost its original mint luster, and on the obverse the details in the hair and above the ear may appear flattened, while the cheek and jawline show moderate wear, and on the reverse the eagle feathers, especially on the breast, may show smoothing, yet the major design elements remain clear, and the rim should still be complete and well defined. And explaining these grading characteristics in detail will educate your audience about how condition impacts value and why a fine-grade coin is worth significantly less than a mint-state example graded higher by professional grading services. Another important discussion point for your long script is the difference between circulation strike coins and proof versions, because in 2021 the United States Mint also issued proof Kennedy half dollars from the San Francisco Mint bearing the S Mint mark, and these proof coins feature mirror like backgrounds and frosted design elements created through a special striking process, and proof coins are sold directly to collectors and often command higher prices, especially when preserved in original packaging or certified in high grades. And by clarifying this distinction, you help viewers understand that a 2021 P coin found in circulation is very different from a proof issue in terms of appearance and market value. For realistic value expectations, it is important to tell your subscribers that a 2021 P Kennedy half dollar in fine condition typically trades for 50 cents to perhaps $1, depending on local demand and coin shop pricing, and most dealers will treat circulated modern half dollars as face value unless they are part of a larger bulk purchase or in exceptional condition, and this transparency builds credibility with your audience because many online claims exaggerate modern coin values, while experienced collectors recognize that true rarity usually comes from low mintage errors, precious metal content, or high-grade certification. You can also dedicate a section of your presentation to the artistic and symbolic elements of the design, describing how the obverse portrait of President Kennedy was created by Chief Engraver Gilroy Roberts, and how the reverse design adapted from the presidential seal was prepared by Frank Gasparo, featuring the heraldic eagle holding an olive branch and arrows representing peace and strength, and the inscriptions United States of America and half dollar surrounding the design. And by exploring these artistic details, you add educational depth that keeps viewers engaged throughout the extended video format. Another angle to explore is long-term collecting strategy, because while a single circulated 2021 P coin may not be highly valuable today, assembling a complete date and mint-mark set of Kennedy half dollars from 1964 to the present can be a rewarding goal for collectors, and saving uncirculated examples or sealed mint rolls may offer better potential for appreciation over time, especially if future production levels decline or collector demand increases. And emphasizing patience, research, and careful purchasing decisions will help your subscribers develop smarter habits within the hobby. Storage and preservation are also essential topics for a comprehensive script, because even a coin in fine condition should be stored properly to prevent further deterioration, and viewers should be advised to handle coins by the edges, avoid cleaning them, and use coin holders, albums, or protective flips to reduce exposure to moisture and contaminants. And by sharing practical care advice, you position your channel as a trusted educational resource, rather than simply focusing on price speculation. To conclude your script, you can summarize that the 2021 P Kennedy half dollar in fine condition is a modern copper-nickel-clad coin minted in Philadelphia with a face value of 50 cents and a market value generally close to face value due to high mintage and lack of silver content. Yet it remains an important part of a historic American coin series honoring President John F. Kennedy, and while it may not be a rare treasure, it carries historical significance, patriotic symbolism, and lasting collector appeal. And by presenting accurate information, honest value estimates, and detailed historical background, you encourage viewers to subscribe, stay informed, and continue exploring the fascinating world of Kennedy half dollar collecting. Next up, the Kennedy half 2023 D Mint Mark coin is a modern issue produced by the United States Mint at the Denver facility, and it continues the long-running tribute to John F. Kennedy, whose image has appeared on the half dollar since 1964. And in fine condition, this 2023 D coin shows moderate circulation, with smoothing visible on the high points of the hair above the ear and along the cheek and jaw, while the reverse design featuring the presidential seal remains bold with clear outlines on the eagle wing shield and lettering. And for viewers, it is important to understand that this coin is a copper-nickel-clad issue with no silver content, which means its intrinsic metal value is equal to its face value of 50 cents, and in most cases the market value in fine condition remains close to that amount. When building script, you can begin with the historical background, explaining how the Kennedy half dollar was first introduced in 1964, shortly after the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, as a national memorial, and how the coin quickly became one of the most collected modern United States coins, and over time the composition shifted from 90% silver in 1964 to 40% silver between 1965 and 1970, and then to copper-nickel clad format beginning in 1971 and the 2023D issue follows this clad tradition, which means collectors today focus more on condition mintage and special varieties rather than precious metal value when determining worth. The 2023D Mint mark indicates that the coin was struck at the Denver Mint, and although half dollars are not widely used in everyday commerce, they are still produced primarily for collectors in rolls bags and annual mint sets, and the mintage numbers for modern issues are typically in the millions, which limits scarcity in circulated grades, and scarcity is one of the main drivers of numismatic value. So when supply is plentiful and demand is steady, but not extreme, the price generally stays near face value, and this is why a 2023D Kennedy half dollar in fine condition usually trades between 50 cents and $1, depending on local coin shop practices and collector interest. In fine condition, the grading standard means the coin has been in circulation and has lost its original mint luster, and the hair details on the obverse portrait may appear partially flattened while the cheek and neck show light to moderate wear, and on the reverse the eagle breast feathers may be smoother, yet the major design elements remain strong, and the rim should be complete and distinct, and explaining these grading characteristics carefully helps your audience understand how professional grading works and why higher mint state examples certified by grading services can command higher premiums compared to circulated pieces. Another valuable section of your script can focus on the difference between circulation strikes and special collector versions, because in 2023 the United States Mint also produced proof coins at the San Francisco Mint with the S-Mint mark, and those proof coins feature mirror-like fields and frosted devices created through a special striking process, and proof versions are sold directly to collectors and often carry higher retail prices, especially when preserved in original packaging or graded in high condition, and by clarifying this difference, you prevent confusion between a standard 2023D coin found in change and a proof issue intended for collectors. For realistic value discussion, it is essential to emphasize honesty, because many online sources exaggerate the worth of modern coins, but experienced collectors recognize that a 2023D Kennedy half dollar in fine condition is generally worth face value unless it displays a significant mint error, such as an off-center strike double die or major planchet flaw, and such errors are rare and must be authenticated to carry premium value, and this transparent approach builds credibility with your viewers and encourages them to subscribe for reliable information rather than unrealistic claims. You can also expand your presentation by discussing the artistry of the design, noting that the obverse portrait was originally created by Gilroy Roberts, while the reverse design featuring the heraldic eagle was designed by Frank Gasparo, and the symbolism of the eagle holding an olive branch and arrows represents peace and strength, and the inscriptions United States of America and half dollar encircle the design, reinforcing national identity. And by explaining these artistic and symbolic elements, you create educational depth that keeps viewers engaged throughout the extended video. Another important topic for a 40-minute script is long-term collecting strategy, because while a single circulated 2023D coin may not be highly valuable today, assembling a complete date and mint mark collection from 1964 to the present can be a rewarding goal, and storing uncirculated examples or original mint rolls may offer better potential for future appreciation, especially if production numbers decline or interest in modern coinage increases, and encouraging patience, research, and careful storage will help your subscribers make informed decisions within the hobby. Storage and preservation advice should also be included, because even coins in fine condition deserve proper care, and viewers should be advised to handle coins by the edges, avoid cleaning them, and store them in protective holders or albums designed for half dollars, and keeping coins in a dry environment away from moisture and contaminants will prevent further wear and discoloration, and this practical guidance adds real value to your content beyond simple price discussion. To conclude your script, you can summarize that the 2023 D Kennedy half dollar in fine condition is a modern copper-nickel-clad coin minted in Denver with a face value of 50 cents and a typical market value, close to face value due to high mintage and lack of silver content. Yet it remains an important part of an iconic American coin series honoring President John F. Kennedy, and by presenting accurate, historical context, realistic pricing guidance, and educational grading information, you inspire viewers to subscribe, continue learning, and explore the fascinating world of Kennedy half dollar, collecting with confidence and enthusiasm. Thanks for watching.